Hello, good morning, everybody. Hopefully we are live. I'm just going to check. I think we are all good. Amazing. I hope you guys are all doing well. Andrea and I are going to be talking about productivity hacks today. Of course, involving Google Sheets and a little bit on how we kind of try and bang out as many things as possible with our days because we're quite busy and I know you guys are busy. So you're probably wondering how we get all of the things done that we do. So we're going to dive into that. If we haven't met before, my name's Melinda and this is Andrea, and we run Spreadsheetables, where we help people create and monetize Google Sheets. So our members join us to learn, but then also grab templates from our hundreds of PLR templates. And they use those to use them as lead magnets. They sell them to their audience. They pair them with offers and workshops and webinars. And then they also use it to analyze and streamline their business to make sure that they are, running productively and they know their numbers, and so that they can make informed decisions in their business. So that is what we do here, everything Google Sheets. And we go live every Monday. If this is your first time joining, you can go to YouTube and check out our past lives where we're just giving you guys some free content and showing you some of the tools that we use that you can go and create yourselves, or you can kind of come join our community. Our VIP isn't open at the moment, but always stay tuned, join our newsletter, all of those things. We do have Spreadsheetables is celebrating our second birthday soon. There should have been an email that went out this morning, so I'll double check, where you can join us to grab birthday gifts, 3 free birthday gifts that we're giving away, not till the end of the month, but we're getting people to join the wait list so that you don't miss out on that. So yeah, you can watch out for that as well. Okay, so productivity, we'll dive into that. Andrea and I felt I don't know if you guys felt this, but January just felt like slumpy and unproductive. I don't know, we were trying to figure out, we're kind of like, what's wrong with us? But I think we had gone through so many launches at the end of last year that it was kind of our bodies just kind of saying, hey, we need to, take a break, focus on the members, and kind of just take it a little bit easier. We had a Black Friday launch, and then we do our Christmas giveaway that we do for 12 days. So that was all very busy. And then January hit, and it was just nothing seemed to be like pulling together. We weren't doing anything beyond the extra, just kind of supporting members and making our Google Sheets. It was kind of nice to just like sit and make our Google Sheets that we enjoy doing. But yeah, it was a very different vibe. And so I'm just coming into February, getting out of that slump, and have been really focusing on how to make sure I'm productive, we're productive, that we're getting the most out of our days. Both of us are lead, busy lives with kids and running a household and all of those things. And, if you guys are in the same boat, it's very challenging to get all of the things done. So coming into February felt like a reset. I know January feels like a reset for people, but February felt more like a reset, just because January was kind of like recouping. February, okay, fresh start. How can we make sure that we're making the best use of our time? So I've been thinking a lot about that lately. And of course, we'll show you some of the Google tools that we use, but it's also, mindset and knowing your business and knowing where you need to be focusing on. So of course, we have these tools to help guide you, but there's this whole element behind it of understanding your time and where you should be focusing. I've had to really put on like the earmuffs lately and just like tune everything out, especially during like I've been calling it like a focused work time, where I just put headphones on. I joke with my husband that if I have my headphones on and he like interrupts, I'm gonna do the slow like pull it out of my hair and be like, yes, like just so they know that like this was the time, that I needed to be doing some things. So, um, yeah, so with that, I think what we're talking about today ties in a lot with a lot of the other lives that we did recently. Last year, we had talked about a net worth planner or net worth tracker to understand where you stand financially. And then we got into the dream life calculator I think we skipped last week. So maybe it was the week before that we did the dream life calculator, where you can kind of map out what your dream life looks like. What are you aiming for? Is it trips and more free time with your family? Like, what is it? Do you need more help in your household? So you need to outsource that. And so you could be able to put all of these things into a spreadsheet and understand kind of what income goals you're aiming for. Another spreadsheet we did was a time value spreadsheet. So understanding the cost of your time and then comparing that to tasks that you do throughout your day, throughout your week, and which of those tasks you should be outsourcing because you're actually losing money by doing some of those things. So for example, maybe it's like laundry in your house that you can't stand to be doing and you're always dreading it. And then according to this calculator, you're actually losing money by doing laundry because you could have been working on your business, doing something else more productive. So that all ties together with understanding where your focus should be. And then from that, understanding your time value and then coming into your business and like what is going to be the biggest bang for your buck. I actually wanted to like do a spreadsheet kind of on this. I haven't like mapped it out in my head, but like what's the biggest bang for your buck in your business where you're spending your time? What are you going to get the most from? So sometimes we get caught up in like, I don't know, tweaking pretty things on our website or focused on our social media strategy, but then we're not posting. Like those kind of things are pulling you from the things that are actually moving the needle, which is maybe emailing your audience. Maybe it's putting out an offer, like putting offers more often, those kind of things. So yeah, this whole piece of the puzzle is like having all of that mapped out for yourself and understanding where you should be spending your time. Now, the other part that we struggle with is like actually spending the time. So, you go to sit down and if you work from home, like a lot of us do, you have those like interruptions, the phone rings, the kids are calling you, you grab your phone to check social media. Those things can really impact your day. And then all of a sudden at the end of the day, you're sitting there saying like, what did I even achieve this day? Like, how many times have you said that? I felt like January was a lot of that, but I wasn't recognizing that it was actually, I just needed to be doing more resting, I think, after the crazy months that we had. So it was probably just my body calling for help. But outside of that, yeah, recognizing like how many days do you go by not achieving something? If you look at your business and you work backwards on all of the things you need to do to get to a certain point, every time you miss a day, you're holding yourself back from finally achieving that, what you're aiming for in your business. So yeah, this is why we're talking about this today, because it's so important. It's fine if you miss the odd day, but if you're noticing a trend of like, what did I do today? I didn't even get anything done. You should be able to, lately in the last couple of weeks, since I've been super focused on making sure I'm focused and getting those things done, at the end of the day, I can actually say, oh, I achieved this, this, and this. That's awesome. Here's what I plan on achieving for the next day. And while we're on that topic, we can talk about kind of reviewing what you've done for the day. A lot of people will set aside the morning to brain dump all of the things that you need to be getting done. Do I do this in the morning or at night? I think I do it either one. I do like to end my day by like making sure I've like checked off the things that I said I was going to get done, and then say, okay, what am I going to get done tomorrow? And like mapping that out. But you can absolutely do that in the morning too. Some people prefer that. So either one works. But you'll want to be doing that, not just jumping into random tasks. You actually want to lay it all out. That's where this Eisenhower matrix comes into place. I'll share that screen. So we've called it a priority matrix, Eisenhower matrix, same thing. This is often how I think of my tasks. I'll map them all out. Don't just jump in and start doing things, because you want to make sure you're focusing on the important things. So this section here is all the important things, and then the not important. So if you brain dump all of your tasks first you can organize them into important and not important. And then from there, they get divided from there. So once you decide what your important tasks are, and by important, that's why I was talking about like what's moving the needle in your business. Sometimes you might have external forces telling you something's important, but you have to make that decision on like, is it important for them or is it important for you and your business and moving things forward? If it's something that you've consciously said, like, yes, this is what I need to be doing. So maybe it's like participating in another event, and you've consciously said, this is going to move the needle for me, then okay, like make that important. But if, you're just getting pressed on something that doesn't align with you, doesn't align with your business, doesn't align with your values, you don't need to do things for other people when it doesn't align with all of those things. Sometimes we have trouble, I say we collectively, people sometimes have trouble saying no to things. So okay, so once you map out what's important, you then divide it into what needs to be done now and what you can schedule out. So if something can wait until tomorrow or next week, you can schedule that to make sure that that gets done. I do that myself. I'll pop it into a calendar, or I'll use, like if I don't want this list, this not urgent pile, like building up, I'll pop it into a calendar. I will go into Google Calendar has that like task list. You can label that task list with a date and put those there. Andrea and I use a someday list, which we really like. I like that one for like big projects. So little tiny things, I just like pop into a calendar or the Google task list. But if they're like really important projects or like, I don't know, like big initiatives for our business, I'll pop it into our someday list, and you can go back into our lives. We've talked about that before. It's a great way to brain dump really good ideas that you don't want to lose track of. Andrea and I find that we will come up with great ideas. We'll map it all out through WhatsApp. Like we get excited, we text back and forth about it. And then we're busy with a launch or something at that time. And then like 6 months later, we come back and are like, oh, this sounds familiar. We'll be like talking about another idea, and we'll be like, oh, I think we've talked about this before. So that's why if you find this like scheduled pile accumulating and they're important, go ahead and start using a someday list to help you out with this. Okay, so once we have that mapped out, we can look at what's not important. And so we can delegate those things or delete them. It's funny, I find I don't actually consciously like that day delete them. I think what happens over time is an item will keep coming up on my list to do that day, and everything else takes priority, and that one other item doesn't and it doesn't get done. And I guess I'm always afraid of like deleting those tasks, but that's, my workflow telling me that's actually not important and we can probably delete that. And eventually, like after a few days or a week or whatever, it just falls off my list naturally. Um, so yeah, that's how I do that. You can definitely note them there. I guess it's my mindset, like parting with that task is maybe what I have trouble with. Not trouble with, it's just, I guess, how I have tasks deleted from my list is they'll pop up a few times and then they just don't get done because they're not important and then they disappear. So, but then definitely if it's not important, but it needs to get done is something that you could be delegating. This has been, a big one for Andrea and I. We've been growing, but also recognizing that we need to be delegating tasks. So we do have a VA and a Google Sheets expert. I foresee us in the future having to add somebody else to help us out because you just can't do it all. And there's definitely tasks that you could be giving to other people. Again, going back to that time value, because our time is better spent doing the things that we love and that we're really good at, and connecting with our members and those kind of things, and that back end stuff can be done by somebody else. So that is the Eisenhower matrix. So I love that for organizing your tasks for the day. Now comes the piece of the focus. So once you've mapped out, what's important and what's urgent, and that needs to get done today, that's that piece where I think a lot of us struggle with because there's so many interruptions throughout the day. And that's where the Pomodoro timer comes in handy. So I'm going to switch my screen here. Okay, let me just make this bigger a little bit. Okay, awesome. I love this sheet. Andrea created this one. I'd actually never heard of a Pomodoro timer. I think I naturally do this when I'm trying to be in one of those like focus zones. But this is exactly what it is, mapped out in a Google Sheet, which is really cool. So it's basically sitting down for a set amount of time and being super focused on that work. So you do have to, do things like set aside your phone. If you're in an office, maybe it's like closing the door or putting a sign that you're like in some focused work, muting your, landline phone. If you're working at home, maybe it's communicating with the people there in your household that you're going to have some focused work time so that you can get these things done. The other thing I really like about this timer is there's a law. I can't remember the name of it, but basically work will fill the time that we allow it to. And so if we're not setting, estimated times for something to be done, we could end up taking all day on that task. So for example, I don't know, if we want to be creating 30 social media posts to grab like our monthly content, if we don't sit down and consciously say that, okay, I'm going to get this done in X amount of time, you might actually let that task fill your entire day. And so this Pomodoro timer that Andrea has laid out is that you're putting in your tasks here, and then you're putting in how many POMs. So a POM is a focused work period. For this timer, it's 25 minutes long. And so say we go to this is a copy, so I'm not going to ruin it, social media content for 30 days. You're going to actually be saying, okay, like how long is this task going to take me? And this is why it makes you so much more efficient, because we're laying out our task, we're putting how long it's going to take us, And in your head, you have to like mentally be like, I'm going to get this done. Way more done throughout your day if you're doing it this way instead of work on social media and then it takes you all day. So if this is 25 minutes, you could say, like, is it going to take you 50 minutes? Is it going to take you 3 palms? So 3 palms would be 75 minutes. And then, so once that's set up, sorry, I have this checked already here. Once that's set up, you would go and do all your other tasks. This one's grayed out because it's checked off here. So I'm going to uncheck it. Let's say we have to do our weekly email for our people. This one, maybe we are creating a new lead magnet and so on. And so you would go through this list. So our weekly email, I would say I can write an email in 30 minutes, sometimes 60 minutes. So for this week, let's just say it's 1 palm, which is 25 minutes. Creating a new lead magnet. Let's see. Okay, that depends. A new lead magnet. If we are starting, let's say with Spreadsheetables, PLR, Google Sheets, where you can just grab one of those and change the colors, we could say it's 1 palm. If you were going in and grabbing our templates and maybe customizing a little bit more, adding like a welcome page, all of those things, it might take you closer to an hour. So just for fun, let's just say 2, and then we've got these other tasks here. So next thing you can do, so after you've blocked all of your distractions and that you're ready to work, this functions as basically your timer. So each of these are your palms. So 25 minutes, 25 minutes, 25 minutes, 25 minutes. In between each of these, you can grab a 5-minute coffee break, which is here. So you would press this, the timer's going to run for 25 minutes. Once it's done, you would click done. You can grab your 5 minutes and then repeat that process. After all 4 of these are completed, you would take a big break. So you would check this off. And the big break, I think, is like 20 minutes. Yes. So that's how that functions. So let's say I was going to go and do, so you can select your task here. We're going to do our social media content for 30 days. And that one had a target of 3 palms, so 75 minutes. And then you can go ahead and click this timer and it's going to run a script. And you'll see that the timer is counting down here for us. So counting down from 25 minutes. This is where we're going to block out everything. We're going to focus that 25 minutes on that social media task. And then once that's done, you can actually stop the timer here just by clicking this, and it's going to tell you the timer's stopped. You can grab your 5-minute break. So you'd click this, and this is going to switch this to a 5-minute countdown. As you're going through this, so we completed the first palm, so we're going to check that off. And then let's pretend we've completed all of these 3. And so in here, this social media content for 30 days to gray out for us when we've completed that task. So I really love this for staying super focused, making sure we put away everything that we have going on and just, bang out that task and then move on to the next one. I've been finding I've been really productive in the last couple weeks by doing these strategies of like organizing my day, which I've always done that part, but it's the focus part that has been challenging. So making sure I block everything out, and you have to do what you have to do that. So headphones, I've gone to, coffee shop to work. That was on Saturday. I went to a coffee shop for an hour, and I swear it was like the most productive hour I've had because there was nobody else around. Now, that being said, I have gone to a coffee shop and run into somebody, and then, then you end up getting into a conversation. So that's why I like headphones too, because then it makes it, seem like you're super busy, which you are, right? Or having to do that fake phone call thing. Oh, sorry, I have a call, or like trying to get away from that. So we would love to hear from you guys if you struggle with productivity, if you've nailed it, if you've figured out how to stay productive, if you use any of these strategies, or what strategies you do use to keep yourself organized. I'm going to put up, we've got our spreadsheetables.com/CEO. The birthday opt-in is spreadsheetables.com/birthday. Right, Andrea?
I think. Let me test this real quick. Oh, sorry guys, a mess here.
And so that birthday giveaway is similar to our 12 days where we give away 3 Google Sheets for you guys to use. There's a variety in there, like kind of big picture business, productivity, and some fun in there as well. So that is a good one. So go sign up for that one. You don't want to miss those free gifts that we give away then. So awesome. Anything else to add? Are we good?
No, I'm good. I'm gonna try doing the Pomodoro thing. Oh, I have my thing with the kids is like I can't um, put everything aside and be like, I'm gonna have this hour focus. So my focus hours is when he naps, but that's like all over the place, and it's really hard sometimes to combine like when you are at your most productive time, and then the time that you do have to work. So what I have been doing is I noticed that when I don't plan what I am going, because I have like about an hour and a half tops during his nap to work. So to me, I have to plan what I'm doing the night before, because if not, out of that hour and a half, I'm wasting 40 minutes deciding what I'm gonna do. And then when I start getting into the thing, he wakes up. So I do have to, and I normally do. I plan one thing, right? Okay, so this is the thing that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get this done, because if I have like 5 different things planned, even if they are short, my mind will wander, and then it's really hard for me to focus. So I take one thing, like this is what I have to be done. This is what I have to do. This got to be done today, and then it's easy too for you to keep track. Okay, so I did do this today, right?
Yes.
So you're not thinking, but what you said is true. Like sometimes it's really hard to to see what you've got done in the day. Sometimes some days it's really just busy work. You're just, and then you're doing things here and there, and it's hard to focus. And then when you realize the day is over and you have to go to bed again.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. Andrea's kids are younger than mine, so I'm able to they're kind of themselves food and entertain themselves. Where Andrea's got the younger kids, so it's definitely a lot harder when they're that age. And you're right, there is a mismatch between energy level and when you're available to work. I guess my most energy level is probably in the morning. But if you have small kids around, well, that's when you're feeding them breakfast and getting them off to school and all of those things. So you kind of have to, I think about it now that my kids are older. I can look back and realize that was the season I was in. I like this terminology of that's the season that I was in, and things change. It's not forever.
Yeah, to me it's good because I have the two
with your days. It's interesting that you map out one thing. And maybe it's because I map out even things oh, I have to email so-and-so, or I have to some of it is really simple tasks.
Yes.
And years ago, I had gone to a productivity workshop, and they had coached a specific way, but I think everybody thinks differently. So their method of teaching was you map all your things out, and you pick the tasks that take 5 minutes, like the really quick ones.
Yeah.
And I think I tend to do that because there's that satisfaction of like checking a few things
Exactly.
off first thing, and it gets that momentum going of like, okay, now I can dive into these other things because my list is smaller. I feel good that I've checked some things off. But it's interesting. Some people I've heard are the other way. They like, if they're diving into work, they're at their like peak optimum right at the start. So they actually like to dive into the bigger projects and things and get those done and then bang off the little ones. So
Yeah.
it all depends on yourself and what your preferences
And
are.
it goes back to what you said in the beginning. It goes back to mindset. It's you tricking your brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever works for your brain. We always say this here, even with our spreadsheets. Sometimes a layout works for my brain, but it doesn't work for yours. And with everything. So to me, and it will vary too. I don't think I'm very consistent with like, okay, I need to do like micro tasks and then focus on those, or I need to focus on a big project. It really varies. Like it depends on my energy. It depends on the day. It depends if it's raining. It
Yeah.
depends on so many things. But definitely one thing that did stand out for me was planning one task to do. I have to get that done,
Yeah.
and then if I can get more, that's extra.
Yeah.
You know.
The podcast. It was a few weeks ago. About those tasks that we have that we keep telling ourselves, oh, I have to do that. I have to do that. And you don't get it done, like you're procrastinating on that task. So they talked about like reframing it from like, this is just for the task that you like can't stand doing, but you're like, I have to do that. I have to do that. So like reframing it into a bigger picture of like, oh, if I get that done, my members are going to be super happy. Or if I get that done, it's going to move the needle in this way. But telling ourselves it has to get done can actually be like a barrier for us. I found that interesting because there is tasks like Andrea and I've talked about. We can record videos, but like the editing part is like one of those things that like sits on our list. Like, oh, I have to do that. I have to do that. So I found that interesting of like reframing that into like, well, the members are going to love when I get this done, or this is going to move the needle in this different way instead of like just telling us it has to be done.
Boring. Yeah, it's really boring when
Yeah.
you get no reward for getting a task done, pretty much,
Yeah.
down to the thing.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'll try that. I like that. Especially the members are going to get excited. I sit, like, I think that the thing I sit on, the task that I do sit on now lately is editing the goddamn walkthrough videos.
Yeah.
I have 5 videos to edit in the script, and I'm just like, ugh, I should have done that last night when he went to bed, but I didn't. But it just some tasks are just harder, so I'm gonna try to do that. Maybe after I finish that, they're gonna love the spreadsheet, and then they're gonna
Yeah.
celebrate. And that's gonna be fun.
I'm the same way. I freeze up on and it takes me, it's funny because I'll get into editing and it takes me 2 seconds, but I'm like, I don't know why I
Yeah,
get hung up on like, oh, I
yeah.
have to do that thing.
I think for me is seeing the because like when I record the
It's funny.
walkthrough videos, it's long. It's like hour-long videos, or and then I cut, and then it goes down to like 5 minutes, 10-minute video. I think seeing the 1 hour in there to me is what, like, my brain's like, oh heck no.
Yeah.
But it has to be done, so we'll
Yeah.
try the fun part.
Awesome. All right. Well, that was good. We'll see you guys next week. I think we've got some topics lined up, maybe about protecting sheets and copycat stuff. Although we'll see. We'll see what we'll do next week.
Let us
All
know if you
right.
guys want to see anything too in the lives. Just give us ideas. It may be something that you're stuck in your business and you need help with. We would love to, if you guys are here every Monday and you see what we talk about and how we, come up with solutions for the things that you guys need to do. So just let us know what you want to see in the live.
Oh, Simone's asking, is this a new version of the Pomodoro spreadsheet? The other one had cats. I didn't even notice. Did I pull up the wrong one?
No, no, there's two.
Oh, okay,
Well, the
good.
cat one is a. I love the cat one. It's my brain. My brain's like, oh, cute. Let's do it. But I think it's in the vault. If it's not in the vault, I can add it there today.
Yeah.
But those, I think the. Did you have the Pomodoro in the CEO? No. I know we have the Eisenhower in there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if we have the Pomodoro. But I know the other one that is a really good one is the time audit. Again, can't remember if it's in CEO or not, but I know it's in the vault, and that should have the time audit one is a good one because it should help you identify which periods of your day you have like peaks of energy. So just take that and do the time audit for like a week. I don't know, a couple of weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and you can identify patterns because sometimes you don't even realize it. To me, before the baby, it used to be morning too. Like very, I used to wake up like at 5 a.m. Right, I could go to bed at 8 and wake up at 5, and then be super productive before I had to get up and get them to school. But now my schedule's all over the place. There's the baby, if it's not the baby, it's the other kids. So my focus time now it's the nap time, and I have to be productive and I have to have energy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nothing gets done. So
I'm
yeah,
just
but
looking at
huh? Go
just
ahead.
looking at CEO in the productivity. So you guys have the time and energy audit, the priority matrix, and the Pomodoro timer. So the things that we showed
There we go.
today are in there for you guys.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Okay, see you guys next week.
Oh, thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.